Warm welcome on the show, Jus Ritz. I mean, first of all, welcome back in the music scene again.
Thank you, bro.
Right, you've been behind the scenes for a while now. I mean, how's life been treating with you?
Yeah, life's good. It's, look, you know, a lot of things have changed since when I released my first album in, 2009. I did a few singles after that. I took a long break. Yeah, a long break. And this is the year now to come back.
That's good, man. It's good. I mean, I presume you must have taken a lot of too much rest now, right? Because you're going to get busy now with the music. It looks like it.
Yeah. you know what? Well, I've kept up the wedding roadshow, so I've got my own roadshow, and we've constantly been doing that for years. And a lot of people that are close to me, like family and friends, have always just said, they've just said, look, you need to get back into it. And and it's just like, the scene changed. The scene changed a lot. Like back when I released the album, the first one, we never even had Instagram. It was all Facebook. It was all TV.
Absolutely.
There was like behind the scenes, maybe at like gigs and stuff like that. So yeah, it was, it was interesting. It's interesting to see how things have changed from the youngsters when I was a youngster. Now, obviously I'm not a youngster, but it's everything's flipped,
Oh yes, everything's flipped. I mean, now, Jus Ritz, you're back with your refixed version of Tere Naate Glossy.
Yeah.
Right, solid tune, completely refixed, and you got Raj Kaul still on there on the vocals there.
Yeah.
I mean, rather than releasing a brand new track, why did you choose to bring this back? I mean, what was the reason behind this?
So, I've signed to 3Q Records, which will obviously, I'm sure we'll touch on later on.
Yeah, definitely.
The songs have, they're ready for release, and I was working on this song early this year. I thought, the first song, when I listened back to it, it was, for me, it's got a lot of memories because it was really, really well for us. I wanted to just sort of mess around with it, and I spoke to the team. They were like, "Look, this sounds tight." Compared to the industry's changed a lot. So the youngsters that are listening to the UK scene at the moment is there is a UK scene. It's very spread. Let's just say there's not a unity anymore as there used to be. And for me, I just love hearing Dawn. I love hearing Dumbi. I love hearing loads of instruments, and that a song that's going to get you onto the dance floor. And
absolutely,
I've done probably about 20 versions of this song.
Wow.
Like when we first did the first version, I think I mixed it down 8 times because I wasn't happy with it. And what we decided to do is to sort of announce the comeback and everything was just, look, let's just do a free download. What's the worst that can happen? And in fact, it's had so much traction, not only from the UK, but from other countries, Canada, with some love from Kenya as well. And it's been, it's a response that we never thought we would get, because you can always do a refix and it might not work as well as the original. And, but for us, it did well. So I was happy.
Absolutely, man, because it has actually completely, refixed it completely. I mean, it's a good name. You've got 2021 Refix, because it certainly has brought a different flavor to from the original.
Yeah. I
mean, it's been about 12 years, hasn't it, since you released the original version before?
Yeah, so it was funny because we released it. There was no iTunes when we shot the video, and it was just purely on YouTube. And then when iTunes came out, and then it was on the first album, and it was all CDs. iTunes was just getting introduced, so completely different era now.
Absolutely, absolutely is. I mean, talking about noticing the differences in the listeners nowadays. I mean, from there to now, would you say you've captured a new audience now in terms of to bring this strong song back again in the market?
I think the audience has always been there, but I think the audience is slightly older.
Yeah.
So, look, at an age, let's just say, you know, you know what I mean? I'm a certain age, and I think that era is, you know, the 2000s and the 2010s, you know, those sorts of eras, they come and go. You know, you see different types of styles of music that, you know, comes and goes. But one thing that will never change is the Punjabi music. So
Absolutely.
you're always going to hear Dol, you're always going to hear Dumbi, you know, that's always going to be there, but it's just how you put that together and arrange that.
Yeah, arrange that. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It sounds interesting because end of the day, I mean, the industry now is grown quite big in terms of like the India artists have kind of took over the market in a way. I mean, every producer in the UK seems to be working more with Punjab's artists compared to the UK. I mean, now mentioning regarding Free Q Records and Free Q Media, I mean, they are firmly established UK-based record label. I mean, they've worked with Indian artists, they've been working with the artists in the UK as well. I mean, how did you get to know them? I mean, how did you approach them? How did it all start?
I've known Indy for a long, long time. So I've known him for years, from back in the day. You know, we've always crossed paths, always, you know, hello, hi, you know, chatted about music and everything. And when I decided to make a comeback, I had a further conversation with him. I told him this is what I wanted to do. You know, I was talking to quite a few record labels, and for them, they wanted to change my sound because they wanted it to suit today's market. I don't want to. I don't want to sort of follow a trend. What I'm looking to do is, and you'll see it from sort of the new singles that are coming out, is trying to not bring back the UK sound, but make it more desi, rather than the hip hop influence that's there now.
Yeah.
No disrespect to the artists that are doing that, but it's not me.
Do you know, you mentioned about hip hop. I mean, it has kind of dominated the industry here in terms of like, you know, I mean, when we actually look into because you've got your own DJ roadshow as well. I mean, you must have seen this where, you know, you're playing the same kind of playlist throughout every wedding. You know, you're playing the same tracks, and you don't see many wedding style songs nowadays, like the proper beat, those kind of vibes. It's more hip hop. I mean, tell us a bit about that as well, because the hip hop scene seems to be more dominated now, you know, with the younger audience here. I mean, what is the ways to bring back that whole Punjabi vibe, what it was originally in our generation?
It's a hard one, because there was a stage where the UK Bhangra scene was repetitive as well, when everything sounded the same. So look, it depends on what you want out of music, and I'm not going to change what I do to suit the market. I want to disrupt it with music, because what I'm keen to do is bring back that sort of sound, but modernize it as well. And that's why we did Another Glassy, the refix, because the original is the original, but this song, it was just, I wanted to bring that loud percussion, you know. I wanted it to be a high speed, you know, good lyrics. And obviously Raj, you know, is my brother. I've known him for a long, long time. He's sort of been in this journey, and we've separated in terms of he's doing his own style and I'm doing mine, but we're still very close and brothers. And you know, you got to follow your heart at the end of the day. So,
absolutely,
and it's got to be right for everyone. Now, when I sat down with Indy and I showed him what I've been working on, he liked the vibe, and he was saying this is perfect for the UK scene. So I'm not sort of going to follow what everybody else is doing. I never have been like that anyway, but I just want to ritz it up a little bit.
Ritz. I mean, you know that word Ritz. I mean, tell us a bit of the history on that one as well, because the only Ritz that I am more aware of is I think there's a Ritz hotel in London. I think.
Yeah, we got biscuits as well, man. We got Ritz
biscuits. Biscuits as well. I mean, we love the crackers as well, the Ritz crackers. Is it all from the food side of things? Because it seems to be your Instagram shows that you're a lot of into cooking stuff as well, right? I mean, tell us about where did the word Ritz come from?
So it's just a family nickname. It has been from when I was younger. That's what everyone calls me. You know, the only person that doesn't call me that is my dad, who calls me Junior. He calls me, because there was a film called Problem Child back in the day, and when I was younger. So.
Okay.
So
Wow, influences of movies there, right?
yeah, definitely. So yeah, it was interesting. You know, it's just a family nickname. That's what everyone calls me. And when I was thinking of
Oh,
a sort of name, you know, like an artist name, it was just like, you know, I'm just Ritz. I'm nothing special. I'm just Ritz. And then like the label that I was with back then, they were just like, that's the name. And I was like, wow.
it is a catchy name, though. It is a catchy name. The Just and the Ritz. It does work.
Yeah. No
It does
ego,
work.
just you know what I mean? It's just at the end of the day you can't have ego, you just gotta you're there for the love of music because although I'm a music producer, I'm a massive fan of music.
Absolutely. I've noticed that because end of the day, you've been in the DJ industry as well. I mean, that's one thing we're going to be talking about now because, I mean, besides your own brand, you've got your own widely known, Just Ritz Roadshow. I mean, how have you handled the lockdown situation? I mean, the wedding scene's been off, with the events and stuff. How have you been coping during the lockdown?
It's I've been coping fine from a mental point of view.
Hmm.
But from a business point of view, look, I feel more sorry for my clients because business is
Yeah.
business, right? Business will always
Yeah.
be there.
Yeah.
But
Hmm.
the you know for us the enjoyment that our clients get when we're making them dance, when we're making them have a great time and create memories, they've had to delay, they've had to
Absolutely.
sort of downsize things. And I feel sorry more for the clients more than ourselves really, because at the end of the day you just need to make sure that everyone wants to have a good time, and lockdown's been tough on a lot of people. It's given me time to think, and actually if it wasn't for lockdown, maybe would I be releasing music again? I don't know.
Because I want to mention because we've got a few public questions that have come through as well, which I need to mention them as part of our conversation. I mean, in regards to the DJing side of things, I've got a question here. What's come from Jesse from Leeds, right? Because we've got a lot of north-based people who are messages us, right? So I've got a question for you here from Jesse from Leeds, right? He says, since last year's government lockdown, live events and the wedding industry have been delayed. It was uncertain what the future held for the DJing industry, which led them to sell their equipment. With everything slowly returning back to normal now, many are still hesitating about investing in their weddings.
Mm-hmm.
Are the DJs still charging the same prices they did before the pandemic?
I can't speak for everybody else, but if I'm honest with you, I've kept our prices stagnant because I do know of a lot of companies that have had to make up for the last year, which is
Yeah,
unfair. But nevertheless, you pay for what you want because people still want luxury. So
yeah,
if they want luxury, unfortunately, it does come at a price. So there's loads of roadshows out there that are making up for last year, which they have every
yeah.
right to do. We've kept ours stagnant. What we're trying to do is just make sure that we're honouring our current clients and new prospective clients.
Interesting. That's good. That's good because end of the day, like you mentioned, you feel sorry for the clients because end of the day they've had to move things around and change things around because there's many people out here as well. I've noticed that they've kind of, I mean, obviously they've got to follow the guidelines of how many guests they're allowed to invite in their functions. And I've noticed that a lot of them are just, they've got immediate families now. They're not really doing extravagant things. Noticing, things have been changed in terms of, people have had gone through situations where they've lost family members in the whole process. So they're not really enthusiastic compared to how they were before, in terms of having extravagance. I mean, you'll be the DJ now, Just Ritz. I mean, you must have experienced a lot of bizarre weddings as well, where you've got a groom, right, entering the banquet hall in a car or in a Batman car or whatever, right? You must have seen a lot of bizarre things. Tell us a bit about some wedding, what you found very, very crazy, right? Or very different than the normal weddings you've done DJing
at. Where do we start? Look, we've had the usual stuff. I think one that sticks out for me is a long time ago, and the entrance song was "Never Walk Alone."
Okay.
For a Liverpool song, right? But it wasn't from the groom. It was from the bride.
Oh wow, okay, that's a bit different.
Yeah, it was a big Liverpool. Look, I'm a United fan, and then I had to basically make a Liverpool themed wedding. Um,
Ah.
so yeah,
I bet you must have been very annoyed though, thinking that Man United team is the best team in the world, right? And you guys are doing Liverpool here. What the hell's going on?
yeah. But at the time, United were on top. Like they actually were. This was years ago when United were actually on top and Liverpool weren't. So I didn't
Yeah.
quite mind it. But if it was now, then that's a different situation, brother.
Or maybe you must have not even taken the contract,
Now, you know what? I think with weddings, you want to make it special for the family, for the bride and groom.
Yeah,
You want to do as
absolutely.
much as you can. You want to personalize it as well and put a bit of character in there, because you get
Oh,
people that come to weddings that just want to sit there and drink or eat and stuff like that. But what we
yeah.
want to do is entertain everyone. You want to make sure that everyone leaves there and say that's the best party I've ever been to.
So have you actually come across DJing internationally as well, or have you just
Yeah.
primarily just focused in the UK? Okay, abroad as well you've done.
Yeah. So on the first album, like, I'm a producer first, then a DJ. So
Mm. There you
whereas you see a lot of people that are DJs then become producers,
Yeah.
I've always been a producer from a young age. I've always been producing, and what I was told at the time is, look, you need to sort of enter the wedding market as well as the club scene, because
Yeah.
to sort of earn that revenue as well for the investment. So I was like, okay. So then we created this roadshow, 13 years ago. But we've, from gigs, I've done all over the UK, we've done Portugal, we've done India, we've done Canada, done Malaysia. So
Wow.
it's been interesting. To international weddings are different anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Especially you mentioned Canada. I mean, Canada is one market where people do more beyond the boundary when it comes down to weddings, venues to, dressing sense. I mean, we watch YouTube quite often and we see a lot of weddings where you see like the bridesmaids do a proper, kind of dance on the
Yeah.
stage compared to the UK. You don't really see that. But I think the enthusiasm is quite a lot down in Canada.
Yeah, it's a scene that's always had influence on Bhangra music. It's just more dominant now than it ever was, which is good.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, the more countries that are doing it, the better it is. And Canada's always been there. Obviously Jazzy's from there, and Planet Records have done a lot there back in the day, and still doing it now. It's funny how music evolves. People say, oh, is the UK scene dead? It's not dead. If you put out a good product, it will be there.
Absolutely. I mean, talking about your influences, just, I mean, like you mentioned, you're a producer. I'm sure you must have looked up at other producers at the time when you started as an inspiration. I mean, who have you been inspired from?
Well, I loved Rishi's work, and I still do. Rishi Richards, when the sort of 2000s and the 2002, etc. I loved RDB. Big up Shin as well from.
Yes,
Shin
Hair, man.
He's got some fire. UK producer, man. Honestly, he's been around for a long time.
Definitely.
Shin, I was listening to one of your tracks, the Archie song in the car just before. I was getting some lamb.
Wow.
So.
That is, that always is going to remain one of the top tunes of the UK music industry, man. Mukla was a solid tune back then.
Solid song. He supported me as well in the comeback, and you shared all the stuff and liked it, But yeah, sorry, going back to your question. Yeah, Rishi had a big influence on me. Not from a Bhangra point of view, but just from a variation point of view. I love what he did, like his Mary J. Blige remix, the one with Britney Spears. The production on that, I listened to it, I was just like, wow, it was amazing. And then seeing like when him and Juggy and Jay came out and released Dance With You, and he went into the charts. Punjabi MC has always been a big influence. I love the way that he thinks about songs. I listen to music in a different way to quite a lot of people. I listen to how it's broken down. I listen to the melody. I listen to the chord, percussion, and rather than just listening to an actual song, you got to think about it. Because when you're making a song, you're listening for hours and hours and months and months and months.
Absolutely.
Well, by the time it gets released, you're sick and tired of it.
Well, yeah, I mean, I was going to come there because you being a producer, you go into proper detail. Like you mentioned that, they're not the glossy, you've done around about 20, beat on them. And step by step, you changed it, and you reached to the final track what actually smashed in the charts.
Mm.
So, as you being a producer, you've gone into that detail and depth to come up with the right quality of what you're looking for,
Yeah.
right? So, Devinati Glossy, coming back to that tune, right? Because you refixed that, brought it again. When we go back to the industry back then, when there was an industry where there were CDs, there were cassettes back there, you could actually realize how much of revenue or how much sales you've made, from the album. Now everything being digital and being all based on YouTube and viewership and all sorts. How does a producer realize now if their song's been a hit or they've actually made a revenue? I mean, how does it work nowadays now?
Look, from a sales point of view, the record label will know. So that's when they're going to know. Yeah. It's really hard these days to determine what's a hit because people outside the industry will go onto YouTube and they'll see 20 billion or 20 million views on YouTube, which they think, wow, this song's really popular. What they don't know is that people have bought those views. Look, I'm not going to buy a single view. I never have. I never will. I don't even know how to. I wouldn't even know. Freaky are exactly the same thing. And some of the labels that I was talking to, they were like, hey, listen, part of the deal is that we'll get you 5 million views in the same day. I said, okay, but organically, right? And they said, no. I said, well, I'm not interested then. Because I don't, there's no point going onto YouTube and seeing, oh, this has hit 1 billion people, then you've got 5 comments. How does that make sense? So I know people have touched upon fake views and stuff like that. It's a big thing. But, look, I'm not interested in that. I'm just interested in people knowing songs. But when it comes down to whether it's a success or not, I guess the more people that are listening to it, the more people that are showing you love. And with Denade Galassi, if I'm honest with you, I thought it would come and go because it's a refix. It was a free download, but we've actually had a lot of positivity from it. Yourself, from the label, from the management team, everyone said, look, this is over expected what we were expecting, and it's interesting.
Do it is because looking at Free Q Records, I mean, they've come up with various songs, various, soundtracks and everything. It just feels like this track has kind of, brought a different kind of vibe coming from them because they've had classic, semi-classical music. They've had artists from India as well they've worked with. And I just feel like this song's kind of given a bit of a different vibe to their collection of their portfolio now.
Yeah, so with this one, obviously it's a free download, but it's on the streaming platforms as well. So FreeQ didn't release this song because it was from a different record label, but FreeQ Media helped with all the promo, etc. So yeah, from a catalogue point of view, yeah, it is a bit different, and I think that's what they're looking for anyway. It's about the UK producers, and look, we're still going to collaborate with people from India, from Canada, from the UK as well.
Yeah.
It just depends who wants to work and how they want to work. For me, I've got to make sure whoever I'm working with hasn't got an ego, they're not telling me how to produce a song. It's got to be a good relationship.
It's about having that confidence in you, right? That you know what you're doing,
Yeah, no, of course. And it's, I've sat with many people in the studio over the years and come across different egos. I've come across different personalities. Sometimes you don't even get along with the artist. And it's hard because that portrays on the song. We've, not released it or, but you need to have that rapport. You need to, like me and Raj Gaul, I'm telling you, me and him are, take music aside, we're brothers, We don't have to talk, if we don't talk for a year, we'll then pick up from where we left off. Having that sort of thing. There's a guy called Bubble on my first album who sang Deda Nena. We're working on a new song. And, it's about having that rapport with different artists.
Absolutely. I mean, do you think, like you're mentioning about egos and stuff like that, do you think that that's kind of is also part of changing the industry here in terms of, like, you don't see many artists collaborating with each other no more. You don't see them, working together on live shows. Do you think that's reflected the industry overall?
Egos have always been there. I think the digital age has actually made it better for artists to collaborate with. because there's always been an ego scene, right? It doesn't matter what industry you're in, whether you're in a Bhangra industry, whether you're in mainstream, whether, you know, whatever it is, there's always going to be egos, because there's fame that comes with it, there's haters that come with it, you know, there's so much things out there that people don't like. People don't like you to be successful, not music, everything. If you're a successful person, there's a proportion of people out there that will actually say, you know, they will say the song's rubbish. They'll do anything, right? It's just part of the parcel, and that's one of the reasons.
Well, I think also mentioning, yeah, I mean, also you know, mentioning about competition as well, in terms of that now, you know, things are more accessible. Like, you be people who do not have a musical background, yet they've become a producer, or they've come in the limelight as part of the music scene. It's more accessible for them now to actually just go on platforms like Ditto Music and just release content on there, rather than before it was like having an album era. It was, what was the chance to actually have a single to be successful at that time?
Yeah, I completely agree. It's more accessible now for the youngsters to come out there, to release music, to get, you know, Ghost Production's always been there, you know. People will always, you know, I've ghost produced for people, and, you know, even though people think I don't produce my own music, which is crazy, you know, right. You get everyone out there that says that, you know. I apparently the whole world has produced my music, you know. I've had so many comments, but yeah, it's more accessible. Look, there's more Instagram lives for people to learn on. There's more YouTube videos. YouTube is a massive tool. You know, people can learn different things. You know, I've just upgraded my studio software earlier this year to Cubase 11, and you know, watching some of the features on YouTube is always teaching me, because it's a new upgrade. You know,
absolutely,
you never stop learning in all walks of life, not just music. You never stop learning, and that's important. You know, you can't stay the same. You have to evolve, and, you know, going back to your egos thing as well, like, that's the reason, one of the reasons why I left the industry, because I was just like, I had enough. And, you know, there's always favoritism. You know, you've got people that will only play these sorts of songs for these sorts of artists, but then when you know, when you want to release something, they're like, okay, you got to pay us for this. And it's without paying people, you can't get anywhere in terms of, for TV, for, you know, even radio before, people were taking sort of bribes and stuff like that, you know. And for my attitude is, look, I'm not paying you to play my own song, but at the end of the day, if you want to play it, you're going to support it. Simple as that.
Simple as that, yeah, simple as that. I mean, I get your point here, because, I mean, before I started doing all these lives, and, you know, I was in the radio, I could experience that, because, you know, me being not from that kind of, you know, background in the media side of things, and me being up north, it's kind of, I've had to take various routes, you know, and actually approach various artists, producers directly, rather than expecting that the radio management team is going to be getting me interviews. So it has been a challenging side for me as well, like in terms of media, where, you know, you're trying to get your brand out in the Midlands, because that's where the industry is in terms of artists. So I think, so where you're coming from, there's a kind of an ego side of things, where there's more biasness or groupism, or they've got their own kind of, you know, people to work with, and they don't want to actually try and approach new talent or people who have got a different face, you know, on the camera. So it is there. So I know where you're coming from on that one, because I've got another question now, right? Because I've got another question that's come up from Balraj Atwal from Bradford, right? A very interesting question here, right, I've got for you. He's saying, after we got to the early 2000s, we noticed a big change in the choice of music for UK weddings. Do you think that artists and producers have evolved themselves into focusing on one genre over the years, i.e. urban and hip-hop?
Well, it depends, though, because it depends on a producer. So if you take Rishi, for example, he did that whole urban desi thing. They created that. You're always going to have Bhangra music. You're going to have offsets of that. That's the essence of the Bhangra industry. But define what Bhangra is. because it could mean different to you to it is to me, to anybody else. If you say the Punjabi industry, then that's a complete different kettle of fish. Do you know what I mean? So it's
yeah, completely.
it just
Yeah,
depends.
absolutely.
Like everyone's got influences, and that influences rubs off on the music that they produce.
Yeah.
So
I mean, mentioning Rishi Rich, I mean, like you mentioned, I mean, he completely brought a different vibe in the scene. Like,
RDB did the same thing.
completely. RDB did the same thing as well. Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
the whole garage scene. You know, you've got, you know, True School, who's done his vibe as well, which is now that sound has been replicated across India and Canada. You know, that offbeat dorky sound. True School was the first one to do that. You know, especially in True School, the albums back then. So
yeah.
Things change. It depends on you as a person and what you're interested in. If you know the stuff that I listen to sort of 90s R&B. I listen to 2000s Bhangra. I listen to, you know, old Bollywood music. You know, that sort of influence you can have on music.
Yeah. I mean, talking about, you know, the music now, I mean, who are you actually listening at the moment? I mean, what kind of music you're listening to your car when you're on the way to work? You know, who are you following nowadays?
But I'm honest with you, I listen to sort of a lot of 90s R&B. Yeah, that's how I got that on shuffle. I listen to a lot of still the 2000s UK scene as well. I listen to all sorts of music because I'm trying to get an influence, but I'm trying to replicate what happened back then, but bring a new, fresh sound as well. Every song that I'm going to release is going to sound different, but it's going to have a base element of the UK sound. But what is the UK sound? Because there is no such thing as a magic recipe or a formula for the UK sound. It's
But it seems like the Punjabi folk's coming back, you know.
Yeah.
I've noticed that thing. Yeah, I think it looks like somehow the Punjabi folk side of things are coming back now, slowly. That is bringing a bit of some positive vibes now in terms of the hardcore Punjabi, hardcore Bhangra kind of music.
Yeah.
Well, everyone, even like myself, you know, we've been waiting for a moment where we see that Bhangra vibe coming back because, you know, like we're talking about, like Baraj said here about the urban and hip hop, it's got a bit boring because it's repetitive.
Yeah.
We're hearing it constant. You know, even on, you know, radio stations, we're just hearing it, and it's like getting too much now. There's nothing creative going on, you know.
Yeah. No, it's true. But then, like I said, you know, it goes back to my earlier comment. The UK scene was like that then as well. You know, when it was the same sort of jal beat that was playing at everything. But it depends on what you want and what you listen to. My music's not going to be for everyone. The music that's out there is not going to be for everyone. You know, it just depends on what you enjoy, right? So for me, I'm trying to aim for an audience that appreciated that sound then, but I'm modernizing it. So, you know, and I'm trying to evolve as a producer, and you can see that from the first Another Glassy to this one, of what I learned over the years, and percussion, and, you know, Devraj's Dumbi was, when I heard that, and I was just like, wow, it's just a memory, you know, the late Devraj Jussel, you know, rest in peace. He helped me a lot when I first came out, you know. He really did help me a lot.
Devraj Jussel, man, I mean, massive contribution in the music industry. It's like unbelievable in terms of I mean, I would say he's one of those who's got a massive portfolio of how many artists he's worked for. It's unbelievable.
Do you know what?
Even with Jandu Litrawala, you know, even Jandu Litrawala, writer. I mean, look how many artists he's written for. I mean, he's in the UK, and his name is everywhere in the world. Massive, man. I mean, Devraj Jussel, massive name there you've got there.
Yeah, and, you know, although he didn't write Another Glassy, he played the Dumbi on there, and he played the Algoze and the flute. Although I didn't use Algoze on the actual, on the song, because I didn't feel that it suited that vibe on there. You know, he's such a humble guy. Came to the studio, listened to the songs, helped me. He gave me advice, his guidance. He was a legend, absolute legend. And when I heard that Dumbi, again, I was just like, wow, no one can beat Devraj's Dumbi sound. You know it's Devraj.
Wow. I mean, you know, Ritz, I mean, you know, talking about Devraj Jussel and all those legendary people who have who've contributed in the industry here, you must have a lot of golden memories with him, you know, in terms of off the scene. I mean, what was he like in terms of, because some of the people now may have not seen him, you know, personally or whatever, but I mean, what was he like? Was he quite humorous in terms of, you know, being around his friend circles? I mean, well, how was he like in generally?
Yeah, well, I met Devraj because I got introduced to him by Bunsey from the Azad group in
Ah,
Wolverhampton.
yes.
Yeah, I got introduced to him by him, and you know, he was, you know, he always he respected me as a young, you know, producer. He was there for guidance. He was a really humble guy. You know, there was no ego, there was nothing. He came to the studio, he blessed the studio. You know, very
Wow.
professional, but he was just a humble person. Like I said, I've met a lot of people with a lot of egos, but you know, he's, you know, the memory of working when he did that song for me, you know, when he played the tumbi and that, he just blessed it. He was such a talented musician, honestly. Like for him to bless the
Wow.
song was brilliant.
Absolutely, man. I mean, he did it for the Tumbi, the tune completely was just the iconic tune of that track,
Yeah,
right? So it had to stay in there, man. Because
yeah.
we've got Mr. Indie Gill watching us now, right? From Free Q Media,
I best be good then.
right? He's watching. Yeah. Right? So, I mean, talking about you know, the track Nate Glassy, man. I mean, it's a solid tune. You brought it back again. What have you got planned next now? Because you're going to be bringing some official music now.
Yeah.
What have you got planned? What are in the pipeline now in terms of the scene down here in the music industry?
Yeah, so I've got lots of music, man. I've been working on so much music.
Wow.
You know, I've got a new single coming out next month. I've got a new single coming out the month after. I've got a new single coming out the month after that. So
Fantastic.
there's loads of fresh music coming out. No refixes yet, let's just say. But you know, videos have been shot as well. I'm not planning on any albums at the moment. I'm just working on singles at the moment. And look, I'm up for collaborating with anyone. I love working with new artists. I love working with established artists. You know,
Wow.
for me, it's all about newcomers as well. You know, I want to. So if there's anyone there watching who you think you can sing, you know, hit me up, man. Let's do it. You know, I'm all for it. I don't care where you're located in the world. You know, we can make it work. So.
Well, I mean, now you've mentioned that, we've got Arsh Peniawala watching us, right? The son
Yeah.
of the late legendary Kaka Peniawala. I mean, man, you know, you mentioned about new talent. I mean, there's some proper raw talent out there
There is.
who are not getting, you know, platform to come professionally in the front line. I mean, even I'm watching an interview a couple of weeks ago of Kulvinder Dhillon's son as well.
Yeah.
I mean, he's in the process of, you know, coming in the scene as well and stuff. I mean, you know, coming down to the talent now, I mean, there's certain platforms, I mean, which, you know, people like the legend Apache Indian, he's formed his own academy in Birmingham and even in the Netherlands as well. I mean, he's been doing that for a while now. In terms of accessibility for the generation now who want to actually come into the music industry, do you think that the producers now who have already made their mark in the industry, they made their name there, right? Do you think they should now look into educational side of things in terms of forming platforms or educational platforms for the younger talent to give that opportunity to bring them forward?
I think now is more accessible than it ever has been, purely because of the digital age, because of the internet, because of YouTube. Unfortunately, look, this industry and every other industry are full of snakes, unfortunately, and you can fall into the wrong hands. So, you know, any advice to any newcomers out there is just be careful, because you will get burnt if you don't. You know, unfortunately, you know, if you show a soft side, people will take advantage of that. And that's the unfortunate part about it, because there's great people out there that get stung for a lot of money, or, you know, things happen and you're signed up, and, you know, it can be very, very difficult for new people. But look, you've got a digital platform in YouTube and in Instagram, etc. Use it, because people will come to you.
Oh, wow. Absolutely.
So.
Absolutely. That's the point there, because the accessibility, like we're mentioning, you know, it's there in your hands. You know, everyone's got a phone. You know, it's accessible, right? So I've got a very interesting question now. I mean, talking about the live scene here, right? Live music, events, millas, right? So I've got a question what's come from Kamal Saini from Birmingham. So we've got a Birmingham question now, right?
Yes, big up.
So big up to the Birmingham, right? The Mithaiya are good there. I like the sweet centres there.
Yeah.
Good selection of Mithai shops there. I love it, right? It's been a while since I've been to Birmingham, so I haven't had the chance.
Come down, man.
So,
I'll take you around, man.
Yeah, we need to have the Jus Ritz on the table, right, with the Chada Cup, right? We need to get the Chada Cup.
I'll take you Soho Road.
Oh, yeah, definitely, man. Soho Road, love it, right? Right. So the question I've got here, right, it says, India's artists have taken over the global market of Punjabi music, as we've been discussing. We clearly see that in the lineup of singers at some of the millas that happen in the UK, has more than 80% of the artists that perform are mainly from Punjab, whereas 20% may be local artists. What is your opinion of the revenue generated in the industry in the UK? Revenue generated here, not providing much to attract artists here, but instead investing in. So, right, what she's trying to say here is that although that the money gets invested in a lot of the millas here, where they're investing with artists flying down from Punjab here, just to make a sellout of the concert. Do you think that they're generating any money in terms of boosting the industry in the UK?
Well, you've got mega stars over here. You've got people like Shinda. You've got people like Malkeet Singh. You know, these artists can attract people, right? But it's like anything. People will pay a lot of money for Malkeet to come from here to perform in Punjab. Shinda, Jazzy to do that. Look, the live scene want to see people that they don't see people at weddings, because they might see DCS at a wedding. So they don't want to pay to see that, which is unfortunate, right? But it's the way it is. You want to see people that you don't get to see often. And that's always been the case. You know, it's not just now. It's always been the case where you want to get people from different countries to perform in your country.
Yeah.
That's why the artists over here, they come now. So like people like Shady Man's coming over, you know, Miss Buja's coming over, you know, KS Mukkan, you know, those sorts of people. They don't live in the UK, but they're coming over to do shows for wedding season, whether it be mellas, whether it be concerts, whatever it is. So I can't speak on behalf of everyone, but people want to see people that they don't usually see often.
Yes.
There's a pros and a con to it at the end of the day. Look, there needs to be more for the UK scene. But unfortunately, the UK scene is very disjointed at the moment. It's not a family. It's not a family at the moment because there's not enough releasing. We need to release more and more and more music.
More content, yeah, absolutely. Because there's a lot of change in terms of the production where before we were seeing people like, you know, we were mentioning RDB, for example. Album after an album, you know, they were having Lember on there. They had, you know, Monarchy on there. I mean, I was in a conversation on Monarchy as well a couple of weeks ago. And we were talking about the whole, the live music vibe, the gigs, what were happening back in the days. We don't really see gigs happening now. But now that the pandemic's slightly on a turn where things are now opening up, it seems like some gigs are going to be happening now in terms of the old school stuff. And, you know, people, you know, want to go places now, you know.
Yeah, no, definitely. You know, look, the live scene when I was there was fantastic. You know, club gigs were massive, dinner and dances were huge. You know, it's just the way that the market is at the moment, and it's not just the market. It's about the upbringing as well, because people would rather go to maybe mellas rather than go to dinner and dances, or they'd rather go to clubs. It's, you know, there is definitely a demand for it. It just needs there are promoters out there that are doing it as well, but they're not doing it to the scale that it was. And I don't think it will ever come back as big as that. I think because more and more people are watching the likes of YouTube and seeing the live shows in India where there's like 1,000 people, you know, that's where it's at, which is unfortunate because I learned a lot. I learned loads when I was gigging. You know, we used to gig so much in clubs, you know, around the world, and it was amazing. You learn, you see what's dropping, what's kicking it on the dance floor, you know, what's not, you know, that influences you. Everything, every general thing in life has an influence.
Absolutely. Yeah, because at the end of the day, you know, when we look back then, there was just every week there was a dinner and dance happening, a gig is happening, even, you know, me sat in the north, right? I remember when I was in high school, and I think it was around about 2004, 2002, 2004 when RDB
Yeah.
kicked off in the industry, right? And they were practically gigging in every nightclub, in Leeds, Bradford, Manchester, Birmingham, everywhere. They were surrounded, the whole country, So there was gigs after gigs happening every week. And I think that was generating a lot of the revenue in the industry as well at that point.
Yeah,
Whereas now we don't really see much of that.
but that revenue has now probably shifted to artists performing at weddings and DJs having more wedding bookings. So the revenue's there, but it just probably gets now shifted to a different thing. So whereas before, there were,
it's gone to like basically a prestigious market, where you've got weddings and corporate events and
So it'd be great to see that live scene back again. But it depends if there's enough people that want to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, now we were, off the scene. I mean, we were talking. I think you from a Gujarati background.
Yeah, I am.
Right. This is a question for me now, right? It's not from anyone else. It's me now. It's my turn, right? So you're from a Gujarati background, but you're more into Punjabi music, right? I mean, what kind of support have you had from the Gujarati community? I mean, are they heavy into the Bhangra music?
I think I can't speak for everyone, but look, when you go to a wedding and you hear that door, everyone's on the dance floor. Do you know what I mean?
Well,
it doesn't matter what background you're from. So I think it's interesting because I've always been brought up with that sort of music because I learned how to play door from a young age. I played various instruments when I was younger, so I've always had that influence in the Punjabi industry, and I still enjoy. I enjoy everything. So I've had support. I've had hate from both. The Punjabi community. But music's universal. It doesn't matter what religion, what background that you're from. You just need to make sure you do it.
Absolutely. So that was a question from me now because it was my turn. So I've been talking about your cooking, man. I mean, what have you been cooking in the kitchen nowadays? Because you seem to be posting a lot of foodie stuff. It comes off like although you're making music, you love your chicken wings.
That's it.
Right? So let's talk about the cooking side. I mean, I need to know what Jus Ritz has been cooking in the lockdown, right, in the kitchen. Have you been kind of putting the Mrs. Ritz behind and, jeopardizing the whole kitchen, right? Tell us a bit about the cooking stuff as well, man.
Yeah, well, my wife's a pure vegetarian, so like it's.
Oh wow!
So I've always enjoyed cooking. I find it relaxing. So I love making. I love making lamb. I love making chicken. Obviously wings. But during lockdown, I went for a proper wing phase. Like I've made so many chicken wings over the lockdown. It's unbelievable, as you can probably tell. But yeah.
Well, a lot of people must have gained a lot of weight during lockdown as well because they seem to be cooking a lot of like samosa, pakode, and all sorts. Right in the kitchen. Right, right. We just start free. Let's start cooking samosa, right?
It's the air fryer, I'm telling you. The air fryer changed my life.
Wow.
Put the wings in there and you get the fried effect. You get the fried effect without actually frying it.
Wow. Air fryer, we did actually have one in the kitchen, but it didn't work for us for some reason.
Was it Ninja?
Because we're still, I think we just still were stuck with the karahi on the cooker, right? And just pouring a massive bottle of oil in it and just frying things.
Nah, brother. You don't do that, man.
Oh God! I mean, Desi style. We have to go Desi sometimes, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, man, the air fryer. Interesting. The cooking's been there in the lockdowns. You've been cooking. I mean, tell us a bit about Jus Ritz's signature dish, right? You must have a signature dish.
Prawns.
Acha, prawns.
So my grandma taught me how to make, because her prawns have always been the best. And the biggest compliment I've ever had is she taught me how she made it, and then I made it for her one time, and she said it's just like mine.
Wow! And how many takes did you do to get to that perfection, right? Because you're doing takes on your music. How many times did you do on the actual dish?
The thing is with cooking, it's like music. It's always trial and error. So you're going to put a bit more salt in this time, or a bit more masala in. You know, it's always that. So I don't think I'll ever make it every single time exactly the same. It gets better, it gets worse, maybe. I don't know for some people, but no. But I've had, I've had a lot of compliments from the family and friends about cooking. But it is interesting. I enjoy it.
Yeah.
I hate washing up afterwards. I think that's what my wife. That's where I get so some lyrics back at me. So.
Oh my God! I'll tell you one thing, right? Because when it comes down to cooking, that's always the part when people, nudge each other. You want to wash the plates for me? I don't want to do it. You're hesitant to wash up.
My sous chef, like, she hates it.
Oh man! I mean, we're talking about food here, right? Obviously, caterers cater food on weddings and events, right?
Yeah.
Any specific caterer, any specific wedding or event you went to and you thought, man, the food is sick, man. Have you thought, like, any specific event you went and you got crazy over the food?
Oh, wow. Do you know what? There's so many caterers that we work with, and their food, I don't think I've had a bad meal at a wedding. Actually, no, I have once, and I'm not naming that. It was a venue that did it. That was terrible, actually.
Oh, right, okay.
But apart from that, the food standard has always been top notch. Now, people have different variations. I've seen KFC style chicken there, it's like canapes and things like that. But for me, it's the international ones. The international ones, the food sticks out a lot more because it's different.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, especially mentioning, I think you toured down in Malaysia as well. Once.
Yeah, well, that wasn't a tour. That was one show. I was there for 2 nights, and I was absolutely shattered afterwards. But that was it. Wow. We did a launch party.
I think the audience there, but they're into the Punjabi music.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it was a good show. So when I released JD Vodka back, I can't remember what that was. A long time ago, we did a launch party in Malaysia. So I flew there. They picked me up from the airport. We did a radio interview there. Next day was the show. Next day after that, I flew out. So,
wow,
it was tiring.
Tiring. But I think that. Well, what's your plans now? I mean, are you going to be planning on doing anything up there again? Because there's an audience there for you waiting. When Jus Ritz is going to be down there again, right? Any plans in the future where you will be doing any live sets down there? In the future.
God willing, don't you just don't know what the situation is. I think the whole world needs to recover from the pandemic first. Before, thinking about any sort of shows abroad. Let's service the UK with the weddings and fulfill the weddings that we can for people. That's my main concern from a roadshow point of view. I look at the club side. Look, I've not been in the club scene for a long time, I want to make sure that the wedding scene is fulfilled first and bring back some joy to people's lives.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I've got a very interesting question again because I've got loads of questions. Right, it's all down to the time now. Right, now the question I've got here is from Onkar from Derby. Right, this is Derby boy. Right, he's saying that many of UK's Bhangra artists have been featured in Bollywood and Punjabi films over the past 15 years. People like RDB, Manaki, Lembro Senpuri, who have had their songs in Bollywood movies as well, right?
Yeah.
Even if we say rewind back in the 2000s, we've seen Shinder Shinda, Pop Sagu, Aman Hair doing music for Punjabi films as well. Since Punjabi cinema has grown so much, do you think it should reach out to artists and producers in the UK that can adapt their music into films now?
Are you talking Bollywood or are you talking the Punjabi cinema?
Talk about Punjabi cinema has grown, vastly internationally,
I think so. I think not just the UK, everywhere. There should be an element of it because they're shown in different countries. Why not get music from different countries?
Fantastic, man. I remember when Raj Kaul put out Zor, right, when he came back now. I was very excited, happy, the fact that he's made his comeback, right? And being in that era where you've seen these artists, even yourself as well, people from our generation, we feel like we want them back. because solely, although there's good producers here at the moment, you don't see them vibrations what were there before. So I'm glad to see even yourself, you've come back after so many years, although you've been active with your DJing and everything. It's good to see you back now, and we're hoping that you're bringing some proper solid tunes now. Because we need that, man. We've had enough of the hip-hop and urban. That's what we said, right? Too much. We need some proper vibes, right? So I've got another question, right? Very interesting question. From Manraj from Manchester. This is a Manchester boy. So he's from your Manchester United City, man.
No, not City. Don't mention City, man. Man United, that's it.
No, City. Man United, okay.
Well,
forget the City
you're
then, right?
just as a Man City fan anyway.
For me?
Yeah.
Oh, well, you know what the thing with me is, right? I always try and match my clothes with my bag, right? I'm always in that thing of, I can't go and work without matching my clothes. So I've got this habit. So I thought I might as well just dress up very casually today, right? So, because I think Cold Star did mention something.
Yeah, you swear today, bro.
What did he write? He wrote something very interesting. He really loves the style of my beard, you see. So he's very influenced from my beard style, right? So, right. So the question I've got here from Manraj is that in 2009, when CDs were still being manufactured, your album titled "Just the Beginning" was released.
Yeah.
Several artists have noticed that their tracks have appeared on pirated MP3 CDs, right? Which was a massive market in India, where you could go to the local STD and you get, an MP3 CD for 80 rupees, right? So now the question is, do you think that the value of music has dropped so much that many artists have just stopped making music due to the lack of sales of revenue made possible by MP3 discs being sold for well under 80 rupees?
Back then, that affected the record labels more than the artists. Nowadays, you get more independent artists. So I was signed to a record label. Whether they sold 1,000 copies or 10,000 copies, determined the projects that we were coming after that. So, look, pirating has always been like that. Buy your music legally, support the industry. It needs it. It's simple as whether you buy it from iTunes, whether you stream it from Spotify and Apple Music, support the artists. Simple as that. Go onto YouTube. But look, there's ways out there, that people can listen to music that will help benefit the artists.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, there's various ways, like you said. I mean, if we look at, bands like the Beatles and, Elvis Presley and all them artists back then, they used to have a chain of merchandisers.
Yeah.
They used to sell T-shirts and key rings and what sorts, I think that should be coming Punjabi artists as well, right? Because I think Cold Star's done something like that. Raj Cole's done something like that, where they've got merchandisers of their brand. So I think that is quite missing in our scene. I think it should come,
Yeah,
part of marketing.
Look, it needs to be prominent as well. It needs to be worthwhile for the artist, and you are representing the brand. It depends on how you represent that brand.
Yeah.
Whether it's a roadshow, whether it's merchandise, whether it's hat, whatever it is. Yeah. Whether you've got alcohol with like Jack Life, for example. That's doing very well.
Yeah.
Well.
Absolutely.
So look, it depends on the individual themselves and what their focus is. But Raj is doing it, with his brand, which is great. I'm doing mine through the sort of the wedding scene.
Yeah, man, solid. It's the wedding scene. I'm actually quite looking forward because I have been given an invitation card for a wedding in a couple of weeks, right? So it's been a while since I dressed up in a three-piece suit like every boy does on a wedding, right? Suited or booted. I mean, a lot of the DJs tend to dress up very suited and booted rather than having the hoodies.
Yeah, but saying that though, I saw Slams, who's a DJ Slams from the States. He's very casual, and he put a screenshot on his Insta yesterday, and he was just like, suits for DJs are 2000s. Being comfortable is, you get some DJs at the moment that dress in T-shirts and jeans. I try and mix it up a little bit, if I'm honest with you. Smart, cash.
Ever thought of DJing with a Man United T-shirt?
Nah, no chance, mate.
No, never tried it.
Although
Never
I
tried.
love United, right? I love United. I would never wear that to a wedding. Although I did ask my wife, I did say to her when we got married, I was like, oh, you know, can I get a Man United badge at the back of my outfit? She's just like, no chance. But
I'm surprised that you haven't thought of getting a tattoo done.
no,
Because I know there's a few people who got a Liverpool badge done.
No, I hate needles, man. I hate needles. No chance.
I hope you've been vaccinated, though.
Yeah, I've been vaccinated. When I got vaccinated, and then I said, oh, you know, I was screaming. Not screaming, but I was in agony. And the guy was like, I've not even put it in yet. I was like, oh, okay, no worries.
Oh, gosh. But, man, Jus Ritz, DJ producer, absolute pleasure, man, for having you today on Instagram Live.
Nah, thank you very much for having me.
Glad to see you back on the scene. I'm hoping the very best for your upcoming projects with Free Tune Records and everything, right? What do you want to say to your fans, I would say followers of your music? What message do you want to give to them?
You keep supporting the UK scene. Keep, you know, please make sure that, you know, you follow all the socials. Follow people like, you know, like Raman. You're doing a fantastic job in a platform for other artists as well. It's great what you're doing.
Respects, man.
Just be open-hearted when you hear music. That's all I say. You know, although there's this type of genre that's out there now, and it's working, I'm not disrespecting it in any way. But for me, I'm going to bring back this UK sound. That's all I want to do. I want to bring UK Desi sound back.
Fantastic, man. Absolutely fantastic. Well, that's what we need, the UK vibes in the music. Once again, we need to hear that sound again, right? There's a couple of names we need to mention who have been watching us as well. I mean, thank you to each and every one of you who have been watching us from the start to now. We've got Cool Star saying how. Okay, Cool Star's got a question. Yeah.
Go on, brother.
Finally. Yeah, man. So Cool Star says, how important do you think it is where an artist should be as self-sufficient as possible? Wow.
What do you mean? Do you mean play every instrument? Do you mean, you know, what do you mean by that? Having their own studio? That's a massive question, brother. This is like like about 50 chicken wing conversation sort of question.
I mean, Cool Star, you need to specify exactly what you mean by there, right? I think we need to answer that question because that is a very interesting question he's mentioned there.
Let's see if he's typing.
Right, let's see. I think he's still in the process. Do you know, I don't know if I'm right or wrong, because especially there's so many, you know, fake accounts out there as well. But was that really G Sidhu there? I saw G Sidhu appearing on there.
I don't know.
If it is him, that is blimey neck, because that artist, he's setting the trend, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's okay, so he's replied. What did he say? Production, graphics, videos, promotion, and chicken wings. Well, chicken wings, listen, you always need to make your own chicken wings, yeah? That's all I'm saying. Don't be going out and buying no, like, ready-made, marinated stuff, yeah? So that's that bit. Production, again, so, like, look, I produce myself. I play the keys. I produce everything myself, as you can see behind me. But I do call instrumentalists in, like, Tumbi players, because I don't play Tumbi. You know, Dolki players, although I did play Dol years and years ago. You know, having it in the studio is a different sound. But graphics, again, you know, if you have the talent, but to do graphics and videos. But the platform that you've got now is so easy to create videos for yourself, to put online, to do, you know, promotional material, to do graphics as well. It's easier more than ever. But look, if your product's good, then it'll get noticed.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I hope I answered that, bro.
That's a good answer. That is a good answer there. It was a solid question and a solid answer there. Right? What else have we got here? We've got Kuldeep Singh from India, one of our viewers. We've got so many people. Indy Gill, man, respects to him as well. Sukrator from India as well. Who else have we got? DJ Notorious Jack. We've got a couple of DJs, man. DJs. What else have we got here? We've got a few names, man. Honestly, we've had a good turnout in terms of the time as well, because usually I go live at 4 o'clock. But because you're an early waker and I'm a late sleeper, I try to get up on time, right, today at 1 p.m. Right? So massive shout out, man. Respects to you, Jus, and I'm hoping the very best.
Thank you, brother.
For your career. Great to see you back now in the scene. And hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll see you at some wedding DJing, and I might bump into you at some point.
Definitely,
right?
man. Definitely. Let me know when you're in Birmingham, man. We'll go for some wings.
Oh yeah, we need to go. Like I said, we need to have some, garam garam jalebiya, man, with a cup of tea.
That's 100%, man. Let's do it.
Yeah, man. Defo, we need to do it. I mean, Cold Styles told me many times, yeah, come to Wolverhampton. I'll take you out somewhere, but I'm going to defo come now because things are going to open up soon. We need a bit of a break in life and just enjoy, man. So, defo, man, we'll be down at Midlands very soon. 100%. So, God bless, Jus Ritz. Yeah, man, keep up the music, man. Keep the music alive.
No, thank you very much, man. Really appreciate you having me. And big up yourself, Raman, man. Keep doing your thing. Your channel's growing and growing, man. So it's really, really good. And, you're helping the industry.
Thank you so much, man. Respects, man. And a big up to all of you who have been watching as well. Keep supporting the show, Trendsetters, right? Because I always bring people on here who actually have set a different trend in their whatever talent. We had a Bollywood actress last week. She set her own trend. We've got yourself. We've got another guest going to be joining next Saturday, right? So keep subscribed on the YouTube channel, RJ Raman Official, because we've got more content going to be going on there. I'm waiting for Cool Star as well, right? I don't know what he's doing, but he's taking too long with his music, right? So we need to get him in the scene as well, right? So big up to every one of you. Keep on supporting UK artists, mainly, because, end of the day, we've got a different vibe. We've got different product here. So keep on supporting the UK music scene and the industry, and let's just be together, man. We're already a small little industry here. I think we need to cut down the egos and actually boost up the quality of the production down here now, right? So God bless each and every one of you. And yeah, man, Jus Ritz, respects, man.
Cheers.
God bless.